I used to think I was two different people. Around strangers, I was careful, measured. I chose every word like I was being graded on it. I laughed at the right moment, I said the right things, and by the time I went home, I was exhausted. Not because anything bad happened, but because being on takes everything out of it. But around certain people, I was completely different. Loud, silly, honest. I talked for hours without even noticing. I'd say things I didn't plan to say. I wasn't performing. I wasn't managing anything. I was just there. For a long time, I thought that meant I was inconsistent, maybe even a little fake. Turns out, I wasn't two different people. I was just two different environments. And once I understood that, everything made sense. Part 1, it's not shyness, it's energy. You know that moment at a party where someone asks you a simple question like, "So what do you do?" And suddenly, your brain decides to hold a full internal meeting before answering. Meanwhile, 30 seconds have passed. You're smiling, they're waiting. And somewhere in your head, a tiny voice is going, "Okay, how much detail is too much detail? Do I sound interesting? Should I have asked them first? Why is this taking so long? Just say something." And then you say something completely normal, and the conversation moves on, and no one notices. But you notice, and it costs you. That's not anxiety. That's not awkwardness. That's just an introvert's brain doing what it always does. Processing everything before letting anything out. Most people misread introverts. They see someone quiet and assume shy, antisocial, maybe a little cold. But that's not what's happening. Introversion isn't about disliking people. It's about how your brain processes being around them. When an introvert walks into a room full of strangers, something kicks in almost immediately. A kind of background scan, running quietly, constantly. How am I coming across? What's the right thing to say? Is this person comfortable with me? Am I talking too much? Not enough? It's not paranoia. It's just how the brain is wired. And it takes up real mental energy. So when an introvert goes quiet, it's rarely because they have nothing to say. It's because their brain is busy. Think of it like this. Around strangers, an introvert is in cocktail mode, monitoring every gauge, managing every variable, staying in control. It works, but it costs something. Around the right people, it's living room mode. No monitoring, no managing, just presence. That's the first shift. Part 2. Some introverts don't go quiet. They perform. Here's something people don't talk about enough. Not every introvert responds to discomfort by going silent. Some of them do the opposite. They fill the room, they match the energy, they become whoever the moment seems to need. Warm, enthusiastic, easy to be around. From the outside, they look like the most social person there. But on the inside, they're running a completely different calculation. If I go quiet, it gets awkward. If I seem distant, they'll think something's wrong. It's easier to just keep things moving. So they perform. And I want to be clear about something. This isn't dishonesty. It's not manipulation. It's survival. It's a person doing what they need to do to get through a social situation without costing them more than it already does. But here's something about performing. It's expensive because now you're not just processing the room, you're also managing the version of yourself the room gets to see. That's two jobs running at once. So by the end of the night, the introvert who seemed the most alive in the room is often the most drained when they leave it. They weren't being fake. They were being safe. Part 3. The safety switch. So what actually changes around the right people? One thing. Safety. Not safety like nothing bad will happen. Safety like I don't have to manage this. When an introvert is around someone they truly trust, something turns off. The scanning stops. The performance stops. The constant low-level monitoring of how they're being received. All of it just goes quiet. And when that weight lifts, something interesting happens. All the energy that was being spent on regulation is suddenly free. And it goes somewhere. Into humor, into honesty, into stories that go in 5 directions before they land. Into the kind of conversation that doesn't feel like conversation. It just feels like being alive with another person. That's why introverts seem loud around the right people. It's not a personality change. It's an unburdening. They're not becoming someone else. They're finally being themselves without a cost. Loudness in this case isn't extroversion. It's just unfiltered comfort. Part 4. Why it goes even further than that. There's one more layer to this, and it's the part that makes the whole thing click. Introverts are selective, not because they're difficult, but because connection for them isn't casual. It's not something they spread thin across 100 people. It's something they put weight into. So when they find someone who gets it, who's okay with the quiet, who doesn't mistake depth for coldness, that relationship means something real. And when something means something real, it doesn't just stop training you. It starts to fill you back up. That's the part most people miss. It's not just that introverts relax around the right people. It's that the right people actually give them energy. Belonging does that. Being truly seen by another person does that. So the introvert who could barely get through a dinner party on a Friday is the same person who stays up until 2 a.m. talking to their best friend on Saturday. Not because they suddenly became extroverted, but because one of situations cost them everything and the other gives it back. Here's what I want you to take from this. If you're an introvert, you're not inconsistent. You're not two-faced. You're not broken because you're different in different rooms. You're exactly who you are. You just need the right conditions to show it. And if someone in your life is quiet around most people, but comes alive around you, don't take that lightly. That's not small. That's trust. That's safety. That's something handing you the version of themselves they don't give to just anyone. That's the loudest thing an introvert can do.